You're listening to Eat, Play, Sex with Dr. Cat, the place to up-level that sexy life of yours, with expert talk on sex, love, and nutrition.
It's been interesting for me. It's been very interesting for me so let me say this. I have discovered so many parts of myself that have been deeply, deeply wounded from my last couple years of relationship and specifically 2 different breakups that I actually consider to be kind of 3 different breakups. One was a breakup, then there was another breakup with a different woman, and then there was like an ending of a friendship with the original person breakup.
Yeah.
So it's kind of like 3 breakups in a way.
Yeah.
And as I went through that, it's funny because I wasn't able to see these parts of myself that are coming up now until there was someone now where it's like, oh, do I open up to this person? Am I ready for a relationship? And seeing how much I can rationalize, and I imagine you're like this as well, because you're brilliant, which is knowing so much about the human condition, knowing so much about wounding patterns, knowing so much about these various things allowed me to actually kind of reverse engineer in the other direction, which was to rationalize why I wanted to not be boyfriend, girlfriend, to rationalize why it was okay to keep someone at a particular distance, to rationalize these things. And then as the emotion began to process, as certain things came up, for me to go, oh, wow, I've been doing that from a space of fear and wounding. And yet, while in it, thinking that I was doing it from a different space. And so I don't know, do you I'd love to hear your reflection on that, because I sometimes wonder if, it could be fear and wounding, but it's really just the lens. Like, because the action itself of keeping someone at a particular distance or not can come from fear, or it can come from a really authentic, integrated whole space. And
Discernment.
the discernment is really just the lens that we have on it. And I'm curious how you navigate adjusting your lens, because you've just shifted now to not lead with non-monogamy. And that's a big lens adjustment, but that didn't have to happen. That's a choice that it seems like you're making.
Yeah, well, and part of that for me is recognizing there had been an internal belief that I operated from for a long time of not being enough. And given my upbringing, where, bless my parents, they're amazing, and just as a result of some of the life experiences that I had this feeling where I had to show up and be good. I had to be as good as I could in order to be met or wanted or received. And again, no fault to anybody. This is just what my nervous system designed, picked up in the environment, and decided that in order to protect myself, I have to be as good as I can. I have to put in a lot of effort in order to be received. And so I had noticed that I put so much energy and effort into evolving myself and learning new things and trying everything possible that I can. And it's created such a complex, beautiful human that I love myself to be. And I found that at the beginning of these relationships, I would lead with, this is what I do. This is what I know. This is how competent I am. This is, and that doesn't necessarily allow for the humanness to shine through of, I am a human who's also figuring the fuck out all this shit out, And so I've received reflections from past partners of they felt like they couldn't teach me anything, or they felt like they couldn't, I wasn't soft enough, or I wasn't this enough, or whatever, which then fuels that internal belief that I'm not doing enough. So now it's more of an undoing. So doing less and just leading with the very real truth that I feel really connected with of I am fucking awesome and I really don't have to do or prove anything to be that. And my nervous system is calm around that now. And I've also done extensive work on really just regulating my nervous system, because as a result of past experiences, it had become disconnected between my mind and my body. So my nervous system was just like, and I would just kind of disconnect. So
Mm.
now I have a lot more, connection to it to regulate myself.
The thing that has been interesting for me as someone who experienced sexual abuse when I was younger, and it was a repressed memory that
Mm-hmm.
didn't come back for more than 2 decades.
Mm-hmm.
um, I realized once the memory came back and I began to work on like the PTSD around it and different things, only then did I realize how much my nervous system was in a state of fight or flight.
Yeah.
Like
Same.
only then could I feel the agitation in my nervous system, as I began to like work with a therapist who would do, you would probably know the actual term for it, where she would literally in our first session, she's like, is it okay if I sit next to you and I put my foot on top of your foot while
Mm-hmm.
we talk? And she basically just allowed her nervous system for my nervous system to co-regulate with her nervous system.
Mm-hmm.
And just like having an experience that just getting to feel a level of calm and safety,
Mm-hmm.
and to feel someone who didn't need something from me. And at the time I felt like I was in a relationship where someone just she just wanted everything from me, like,
Yeah.
and I couldn't meet that. um the the experience of that gave me a reference point to go, wow, like this is not how I normally feel.
Yeah.
And that let me see just how much room there was for me to settle. And I consistently now will think about, I wonder if the same thing's happening right now. Like I wonder if right now my system is in a state of fight, flight, or freeze to some degree that
Mm-hmm.
I'm not even aware of, because I don't have the reference of what it would be like if I let my entire business just like stop, and that wasn't like I just had complete spaciousness for the next 6 months on my calendar, and what that might feel like. um I'm not sure. I it's a question that I sit in a lot these days, is um and that's the part of me speaking to kind of this part that can create stories,
Mm-hmm.
and any of them can kind of be true,
Mm-hmm.
is like I
For
could tell
sure.
myself that I have a fight or flight that I can't see right now, and I need to search that out. Or I could tell myself, no, you're in a better space than you've ever been, and your nervous system is, and it's probably somewhere in the middle, honestly, right? Like the
Mm-hmm.
truth always lies somewhere in the middle. But it's been fascinating, and I guess to make this valuable for people listening in some way is like, I think that putting myself in positions to experience new levels of safety
Yeah.
is something that I am actively seeking out. Like
Mm.
and that's why I've made even more of effort to like connect with people like you and my friends, and just like, let's just get on a FaceTime and catch back up. And I noticed that, um, in those experiences and afterwards, I feel different than I did before.
Yeah.
And wanting to incorporate those experiences of safety and love into my life more and more for a reference point.
I love that so much.
Lovers, thank you again for tuning in. If you enjoyed the show, hit subscribe and head over to eatplaysex.com to connect with me and grab my sexy guides. Because my goal here is to get you to eat, play, and sex better so you can improve your sex life, which will improve every aspect of your life. Until next time, keep it sexy.